Hello there, welcome back to Darshan Dev. I am Darshan and this is the HMS 8 video. So our code is due for a bit of refactor. The main refactor is going to be in views.py. So we are going to add functions to the booking functions module that we had created, and we are going to optimize the views.py views. So let's get right into it. Hey there, so this is our views.py and I'm running my server over here so we can check out what's working and what's not. So when we come here, the first view that we see is room list view. So if you have seen the video on room list view, what we did is that we have passed in a list of rooms along with the room URL. So the list has tuples which have room, room URL, only two of those elements, okay? And this whole thing can be wrapped up into a function and then imported and used here. So we could use that abstraction, okay? So we are already importing the check availability function from hotel.bookingfunctions.availability. Let's do one more thing. We'll make a getRoomList.py in the booking functions directory. So we are going to have just one function in one .py file, getRoomList.py, okay? And in there I'm going to paste the code that I will cut from here. So cut it, and remember what I cut, okay? I've cut this for loop that generates the room list, and room list cannot be simply generated by the Django ORM because we are not passing rooms, okay? We are passing categories. So room is basically the category over here, because when we go to our room list /room list, what we get is categories like AC suite, non-AC suite, deluxe, king and queen suites. That there can be 10 of these, 20 of these, 5 of these, 3 of these, 1 of this. So it depends, right? So with all the rooms, what we are doing is simply taking the room category and then passing the room category and room URL into the context using this. And to clarify this, well, it might seem like we are passing room and room URL over here, but actually this is a room category, because if you see over here what room is room categories dot get room category. So from the dictionary, that is room categories, we are getting room category, that is the human readable format, okay? So I'll interchange the names so that it makes much more sense. So room category, and this will simply be named category. So for category in room category equals room categories dot get category, okay? So we are getting the human readable category here, and we are getting the URL over here, and then we are making a tuple out of it and then appending it into the list, okay? So room category dot room URL, room URL is the tuple that we are appending into the list. So our list is gonna look like this. So A, B, then C, D, and so on, okay? So it's gonna be a list of tuples. That's what we had done in the room list view tutorial. So I'm gonna abstract this out. So this room categories, I'll cut it and I'll paste it over here. And also this room list, well, we are not using this room values anywhere. I'll remove this, and neither are we using this room, or are we? Yes, we are making a dictionary out of it. So from here, okay, so from here to here, this can be made into a function that will be called get room list. I'll cut it from here, paste it into get room list, but before that we will define the get room list function. It won't be taking any parameters. Okay, let's cut it once more. I'll paste it here, and also we need to import the room module in here because we are using room over here and we are not using booking, so let's not import that. And at the end over here I'm going to export room list, that is return room list. Okay, so from models, it should be, since we are in a different module, a different Python module, I should do hotel.models import room. I'll save it and then make a few comments so that you understand what the code is doing. Okay, so I have made comments for the code. As you can see here, the first comment is function that gets the room list, this get room list function, and then we have getting a random room object. So this gets a random room object. Actually it gets the first room object that it gets. Okay, so room.objects.all returns a query set, and then we select the first object, and then we select that object because on any room module we have a room categories tuple that contains the room categories in a computer and human readable format. Okay, so we make a dictionary out of it, and that's called room categories. And I've initialized an empty room category URL list. Category URL, I say this because when we have when you go here, this has a URL. As you can see in the corner over here, when I hover over it, you can see in the lower left corner of the window, you can see that it says /localhost 8000 /room/NAC. You get it? Over here it says the same URL /YAC. Over here it says /DEL. So that's the URL that we are passing into the context, and these names that are AC, non-AC, deluxe, king, queen, those are the what do we say, values from the dictionary that we are making over here. Those also we are passing it into the list that we are returning down here. So this name does not make that much of sense because here it's not the room list, it's the category list. That is, we have the room categories list and the URLs list. Okay, so this list also contains URLs, right? So room category and room URL. So instead of room list, I'm gonna rename it to what do you say that I've said here, the for loop for populating the room cat URL list. So cat means room category, right? So I'll say room cat URL list and replace it everywhere it occurs. So room cat URL list is this empty list. Then we append room category and room URL that we get in this manner. You can pause the video and have a better look at what logic we have implemented here. And if you don't remember what logic we had implemented, you can just go to the last video, not last but the video where we had made the room list view, and there you can get the sense of logic what we had done. So I'll return this room cat URL list, I'll save this and then make an import over here. That import will be from hotel.bookingfunctions.getRoomList import. You can do star, but I'll suggest you do get room list. So our room list and I'll also rename this get room list because it's not basically room list, right? get room cat URL list. And if you feel that these names are way too long, actually if your app gets big, your names need not be short, they need to be descriptive. This app is not that big, but just in case, remember that being descriptive is better than just being short. Okay, so get room cat URL list, and that will be the name over here too. Get room category, cat means category, okay, get room cat URL list, and what do we say? Room cat URL list, room cat URL list, yes. So let's make a proper import. Okay, so now we have imported the function. We can say room, we can use the full name here, room category list. I will skip URL, or I should add it, room category URL list equals. So the person who is reading our view gets just the knowledge that what this function is for, or what it returns, right? Room category URL list is what it returns. So I'll execute the function over here, get room cat URL list. So I'll pass it into here, room list, and let this be room list because it's just our room list view.html. Let's save it, and it should work just as fine as before. I'll refresh. It says reverse is not defined. Let's make an import over here from django.urls, import reverse. Save it and then refresh it. Okay, now it works. Let's go to Deluxe Suite. It says category does not exist. Non-AC Suite category does not exist. Well, there is some issue over there. Okay. It's making wrong URLs. It should go to kin, not king. Kin is the computer readable format. Let's go to YAC, and that should exist. So it's making the wrong reverse URL. Let's go over here and check why it's doing that. So it's returning a reverse for hotel room detail view and quarks category room category. So room category, let us see. So we are getting this dictionary room categories, and then we are passing in the .get method we are passing category, which we get from room categories dictionary. That is, category is the key and room category is going to be the value. So room category is the value, and value should not be passed. We have to make a reverse from key and not value. If you get what I'm saying, keys are the computer format and values are human format. So we are passing the human format over here. That's the reason when we went to our room list, let's show you that. Okay, when we went to our room list, when we click here, it's going to room/deluxe, whereas it should go to just room/del. It's going to deluxe because it's making the reverse URL out of the human readable format, which we don't want it to do. We want it to make it out of the computer readable format. So category is the computer readable format for category and room categories, and we are running a for loop on the dictionary, right? And when we run a for loop on the dictionary, where we just give one variable, this one variable is the key, and this is the key, and here also we should pass in the key, that is the computer format. So category is category, not room_category. So room_category, we have assigned this variable to the human readable format. Since we are running the .get method, it returns the human readable format, Okay, so this is the value and this is the key and this is the dictionary. Okay, we save it and then let's go back to our room list and refresh. Now let's go to some, okay, so let's go to another URL. Okay, all work fine. Let's try this one. It works fine. Now very successfully we have made our code much more modular. We have made a function that is get room cat URL list, that is function that returns, I should make the right comment, room category and category URL. Actually you should have a docstring for each and every function, that's better, like dot 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 dot, and in here you type all the details, like cut this, paste it in here. So that's the docstring of a function. And it's better to put the docstring inside the function over here. Don't we have auto peptate? It should format automatically. Okay, now it looks good. Alright, our code is formatted properly, it's commented properly, and we have a docstring as well. Let's just save it, close it, and then we have successfully shortened our view by a lot of lines. It was this fat before, this long, but now it's very short. And this booking list view, we can't make it shorter, it's already very short. Let's just remove this extra get context data and let's save our views.py. And then we come to the largest, we're gonna address the elephant in the room, you can say that. So room detail view is our elephant. Before we do any code refactor of the room detail view, you should understand what the room detail view exactly does. So this room detail view gets the category from the keyword arguments, that is the, when you go over here, this is the room detail view, this room slash NAC, this is the keyword argument, that is NAC, you get it? And we get that in here from self.quarks.getCategory, and then we search for a room that matches the category, we make a query list out of it and check if there exists a room, that is we check if the room list is its length is greater than 0 or not. If it is greater than 0, then we get the first room that we get and give the room category into the context and form into the context. That is our availability form, which checks for the room availability, and that's what it does. So all of this logic from over here to here can be encompassed into a function that will be known as get room from category. Okay, so we pass in the category and we get a room. That's how your function name should make sense. Okay, and let's remove this print statement for self.request.user. We don't need it. I think that was for debugging. So from getting the room list to let's cut the code from, so we are going to give a category and then it's going to return a room. So just the code, this code is important to exist over here in the view. This code is important, but from here it can be closed into one function. Cut it, make a new file, that is get room from category.py, then define the function with the same name, get room from category. It's gonna take in category, and let's paste the code, save it. So let's see, what do we have here? We have a room list, that is the query set of the categories, query set of the rooms that match the category. Then if we have, let's shift this, okay, shift tab, the indentation level should be right. I'm gonna comment the code even here, but let's do that later. So if length of room list is greater than 0, we get the room and we get the rooms category. This is room dot category, okay. So we get the room and we get the room category by passing dot get to this dictionary over here, okay. Room dot room categories, we have the dictionary on our model. If you want to see it once more, this is our tuple, but it's the dictionary now because we have passed it, we have typecasted it into a dictionary. Then we do a dot get method on it and pass in room category as a key, room dot category as a key. That's the category of this room that we get from the list. Then the room underscore category is the variable assigned to this value. So we have a human readable room category into this room category variable, and we pass that into the context. We also pass in form, but form we don't need to pass it right now. Let's cut the context and paste it into our view because that's where it needs to be. Here we just return our room room. We just return a room from the category that we have passed in and nothing else. So let's cut this code from context to the end and paste it in our view. Right now we don't know what to do with it. We'll just ignore it. Let's go to get room from category.py and do something there. Now all we need to do here is return this room category. If the room list is greater than 0, return room category, or else we will return none. Okay, so basically we are taking in a room category, that is category over here, and we are checking if the room if any room is available. Okay, so room.objects.filter, room is always available, right? We are just not checking it in checking it with respect to the booking. We are simply checking the room and we are returning the category. Well, after going through the code once more, I found that in the post, that is the room detail views post function, we have a lot of code that's duplicate of the get. That is, we are checking for the availability over here even. So here we don't need to check for availability. Here we simply need to return the room category in human format. So what we do is simply, we need this line of code, rest of it is not needed. So get it to the right indentation level, rename this to get room category, human format. We pass in the computer format, we get the human format. That's what this function does. So room category is dictionary something something something, and this is what we need. Okay, and here we need to get a room, right? Room is room dot, we need to also import it. Okay, room dot objects dot all, the first object, that's 0. Okay, so here's our room, and room dot room category dot get room dot category, right? We get it. Well, it need not be room dot category over here. We'll simply pass the category that we have taken from here. Okay, so we pass in the computer category over here. In this dictionary we get the room category, and we need to import this room over here. We need to get this normal room instance of the room object over here, because on the room model we have this room categories tuple which we are making into dictionary. Okay, so each and every line here is necessary, we can't refactor it anymore. Now what we do is return this room category. It's as simple as that. Return room category. Here we need to import our, just a second, I'll import room from dot models, not dot models, it should be hotel dot models, import room, and then I'll add a docstring to this function and we'll save it. One check that we need to do here is if this room category is not none. Okay, and if it is none, then it can cause problems further down the road. So we can do this check over here in the get. So let's go to our get, and over here let's import our function and implement it first. Copy this line, paste it, and the function name is get room from category. No, but it should be changed now. Get room category, human format. I'm going to change the name of the file, so it will be changed from get room from category to get room category human format. Let's save it. Let's go over here. So get room category human format, get room category human format, and we will use it over here. So human format room category equals get room category human format, and I'm going to pass in the category that we get from the keyword arguments, that is simply category. We're going to pass it in here, and then let's check it if it is not none. Well, it's never going to be none, because if we pass in some invalid value over here, then maybe it can return some error. We'll do a check. Okay, so we'll just pass it in human format room category. I'll save it. Let's go to the room detail view and check it out. Okay, the else does not match. Just a second. Let's comment out this else for a while. Save it. Let's go to our room detail view, refresh it. Okay, type object room has no. Okay, wait a second. Room dot object. Okay, objects dot all. Save it. Refresh. Okay, we get it. But now if we pass in some, okay, now if we pass in some gibberish over here, what does it do? It returns none. Okay, so what the check we need to do is, if not none, we need to run if we have run the function here and the returned value is human format room category. So if human format room category is not none, then I'm going to return this context, indent it, or else, and also will return render this. Let's take it up, and if it does not the room category does not exist, that is our function returns none, then we are going to use this else statement to redirect to category does not exist instead of showing us none over here. Okay, so we go over here, we save it, and after saving we refresh and it should show us that HTTP response. Okay, it does show us category does not exist. So if we go to NIC, it takes us to the right place. Let's try something else. Let's go to YC. It should take us to the right place. Yes, it does. And let's type in some gibberish. Now it takes us to the right place. So we have refactored it quite well. Now let's move on to the post method. Before moving on to post, I have just made a few comments for you to read. That is room detail view. It's a generic view based room detail view. We inherit from view over here, and this get method, we get the room category from the keyword arguments from the address bar, and then we get the human readable format from our function, that is get room category human format, which just takes in the category and returns human format. Then we have our availability form. That's an empty form which we get in the detail view of each and every room category. Then if we check for invalid category names, if it is not none, that is if the category name, if we are not able to get a room category, that is our function gets an invalid input, our function will return a none. So if it is not none, then we are going to pass it into context, human format room category and the form, and render it. And if it is none, that is someone has passed in some gibberish over there in the address bar, then it will say category does not exist. Okay, so we are handling the post now. So in post, what we do is simply get the category. Okay, in the keyword arguments we get category, and then we get a query set of rooms, that is the room list, and we run the availability check on each and every room, and then we get a list of available rooms, and we take the first object, that is the first available room that we get, and we book it. Okay, so here we are going to make two function files that are the first one will check for available rooms and return if there are any available rooms, and if there are available rooms, then we will run a function that does the booking for us. Okay, and if the rooms are booked, we will return this HTTP response. So let's cut and paste some code. So before cutting the code, I'll just explain to you in short what the code does. The first line gets the category keyword argument from the address bar. So the second line, it gives you a query set of the rooms that match the category that you have passed in, and the third line passes request.post into the availability form, and over here we check if the form is valid. Then here we initialize a available rooms empty list, and then we run the availability check and append available rooms to the available rooms list. If the length is greater than 0, that is if there are any available rooms, then we make a booking for the first available room we get and return the booking as an HTTP response, or else we return this response that all the rooms in this category are booked, try another one. We are returning HTTP responses because we haven't prepared templates, good looking templates that we can return. Actually, you can do that quite simply, like we had done in the last video. We had reused the HTML. You can do it. That will be quite cool. So we can cut from here, from where we get the room query list, and also so the thing that is required in our function is the room list. We need the room list, but we can find it out on our own. For our functions inputs, we'll need category and form. Form because we are getting data from the form. The data is when the person checks in and when the person checks out or wants to check out. Okay, so we are getting the data from the form. So we'll keep the form declaration, that is we are passing the request.post into the form, we'll keep it here. but we will take this line, paste it down here, and take it with us into the function. So we are going to take form and category into the function, okay, and we are going to check the form validity and do other stuff over there. So if length of available rooms is greater than 0, we'll do that later, okay. No, this logic will also be implemented in that function, but let's handle it later. Just cut this form validity checks and the populating function, that is the for loop that populates the available rooms list. We'll cut it and we'll paste it in the booking functions. Our file name will be get available rooms list, or just get available rooms. Oh, I forgot .py. Get available rooms.py, and in here I will make the same import from hotel.models import room, and here I'm going to define the function that is get available rooms. It's gonna take in form and category, or category and form will be better, since we are working first with the category and then with the form. Let's get the category first. I'll cut it, paste it here. So what the first line is doing is getting a query set of the category, query set of the rooms that satisfy the category, and in the second line we are checking if the form is valid. Let's adjust the indentation properly, and then in the third line, or in the third part, we are declaring an empty list that is of available rooms, and in the next part we are going to populate the available rooms list in this manner, okay. And over here we are going to check if the available rooms list is, if the length of available rooms list is greater than 0. If it is, then we are going to return the available rooms, or else we are going to return none. Let's save this function. I'll make a few comments and doc strings, and later we can implement it over there. So let's read the comments on that function. Get available rooms. This is the function that takes in the category and returns a room list, okay. So this line gets the query set of rooms that satisfy the category that you have put, and then this line, these lines check the validity of the form and return the clean data from the form, and we initialize an empty list, populate the list over here from the data of the form. And this check availability, yeah, we need to import it over here. I just forgot that. Check availability is the function that is in availability.py over here, and we can import it right now. Then we check it for room in room list. We pass in room data.checkin, data checkout, and this data is from this form. So we get the available rooms.append room. So we get the list over here, and if the list is greater than 0, the length of the list is greater than 0, then we return the list, or else we return none, okay. So I'll import the function that is check availability from dot availability import check availability. I'll save it, and then in views.py I'll go to our post of room detail view. I'll go over here, and let's make a bit of space, and I'll first of all import the function that is get available rooms.py. copy, paste from get available rooms, import get available rooms, and I'll run the function over here. So available rooms equals get available rooms, run the function. So I'll say if available rooms is not none, that is if any room is available, then we'll book the room. That is we'll say the function will be called book room, and we'll pass in available rooms. The list will pass in the list, the first element of the list, that is 0. Okay, book room, available rooms 0. Book room is not function right now, we will not save the views.py file, but book rooms will be this function, that is room is available room 0. We already specified that, we don't need this. So this is it, booking is this booking.save, that's it. It will return nothing, it will be just book room and that will be done. Then we'll return the HTTP response, or else we'll return this HTTP response. So I'll cut this logic of booking the room. Basically it's not that kind of logic, but we are just creating a booking object, then saving it, that is it. That's how we create a booking right now. So I'll cut it and make a file, that is bookroom.py, and then I'll import from hotel.modules import booking and room. We'll need both of them. Then I'll define book room, what will the book room take in? First of all, let's place the logic. What do we need? We need check-in, check-out. Oh, let's just pass in the data from over here. Oh, but for booking the room we need data, and data should be returned from this function, that is available rooms. Let's wait for a while. Yeah. First of all, let's change the variables in this function. We are not going to take in data from here. That is, we are going to say check-in is check-in. We are going to take check-in and check-out from the parameters that we pass into this function. Save it. So book room takes in room, check-in and check-out. Since user is automatically filled by self.request.user, room, check-in, check-out. Well, we don't have any self over here, so we will say request.user and we'll pass in the request in here. So it will take in request, room, check-in, check-out. Request, room, check-in, check-out. So we save it and I'll import it in views.py. I'll import hotel.bookingfunctions.bookroom, import bookroom, and over here I will use the bookroom function in the post. So I have passed in the room over here, but we also need to pass in request. That's the first variable, or the first parameter we can say, request, room, check-in and check-out. But how do you get the check-in? That's an issue. since we are going to need the check-in and check-out date over here in the views.py, let's move the logic from get available rooms, the last function that we had made. We'll move the logic of form validity from here to the main views.py. So I'll cut this if form.isValid and paste it below over here and adjust the indentation. So now it's done. Here we have access to data. Here I can pass in data check-in, and then I can pass in data checkout. So the next thing that we have to do is to check for available rooms. We need to pass in the check-in and checkout. So our get available rooms function will not only take in category and form. Oh, it will not take in form right now. We are going to make a few changes, right? It will take category, check-in and checkout. Check-in, checkout. And these variables are not going to be data check-in and data checkout. They're going to be just check-in and checkout. So check-in, checkout. As simple as that. Now let's save it, and while checking for the availability, that is get available rooms, we have to now pass in category, check-in and checkout, and we pass that in from, well, the category is already there from the quarks. So let's pass in category. We get the check-in and checkout in a similar manner from the form that we gave to the book room function. In a similar manner, I'll paste it over here. That is check-in and checkout. Whenever we use this data, the data is from the form, remember? Okay. So here we get the available rooms. Here we book the room, and here we return the response of booking. And this is the if else block. Okay. So I'll just make a few comments over here and then show you how it looks. So let's check out the comments over here. So our post function looks like this. We get the room category from the keyword arguments, that's our address bar. We pass the request.post, that is the date of check-in and checkout, that we give it into the form of availability form that we pass in here, and check the form validity. And here we check if the rooms are available, that's available from the get available rooms function. In that function we need to pass in the category, data check-in and data checkout, and get available rooms function takes in the same things, category, check-in and checkout, that we pass in from here, that is category, check-in and checkout, and check-in and checkout are passed in from the data that we get from the form, that is this square bracket notation, right? So we this data is in the form of a dictionary, so we use the square bracket notation, that is data check-in, data checkout. So we get we get the category, check-in and checkout from there, and then we run the check availability function that we had made in many videos before. We have imported that over here, and then we check the availability for each and every room and append that to the available rooms list. If the rooms list has any available rooms, then it returns the list, or else it returns none. So assuming that the available rooms has some data, like we have checked here, if available rooms is not none, then we are going to book the room, the first room that we get, and book room function is the function that we use. It takes in request available rooms 0, that is the first room that we get as available. Then we pass in the data check-in, data checkout to make the booking from that check-in date to the checkout date. Actually it's date and time, okay? And then we return the HTTP response of the booking made, or else if the book available rooms is none, that is none of the rooms are available, then we return the HTTP response, that is all of this category of the rooms are booked, try another one. You get it? It may seem as if we have not made our code shorter, but it's actually really short. And even if we have added a lot of empty space and comments, actually it's a good practice. It makes your code much more readable, that is human readable, you get it? And also it does not look that dense form. I mean, it does not look like it's paragraphs or something, it's hard, like it's hard to read or something. No, it just has some lines which do some specific function, and it has functions organized into specific files that are in a specific Python module, that is booking functions. Like you see here, this is the, oh, we didn't go over this function, right? Actually it's that simple that we don't need to go over this. Bookroom function is simply it simply makes a booking object and then saves it, that is it. And to make the booking object, it takes in request, room, check-in and check-out. Request for getting the user, okay, because user is automatically set, right? It takes in the request and checks the user, puts the user over there, and takes in the room, check-in and check-out, and places it in and makes a booking object and saves it. It's as simple as that. I'll add a comment over here. Makes booking object and saves it. That's the function of our bookroom function. I'll save it, cut it, let's save this one too and close it, and then I'll save our views.py, and I think that's all we need to do over here. So we have room list view, which cannot be further simplified, and room list view is self-explanatory. Booking list view, it's also quite self-explanatory what it does, and it just simply checks if the user is staff and returns all the booking objects, or else if the user is not staff, then it returns the booking objects of the user that is logged in. This is for the customers, okay? And then the room detail view, which was the elephant in the room, which we have addressed. Now it is much more simple, sparse and human readable. Each and every line of code does something specific. Each and every line is well commented, and that's how you should write real code, because the next person who sees your code should be able to appreciate its beauty. Like each and every line, the person just reads it and knows what it does. There is no ambiguity if this is that, that is this or something. No sort of confusions, nothing. Everything is clear, crystal clear. No room for confusion. So that is our room detail view, and we have cancel booking view, which is the delete view, and it's quite self-explanatory, and we don't do much over here. We let the generic delete view handle this, and then I'll save it, and then we'll check if everything works just as fine as before. I'll refresh my page. Well, it loads the detail view correctly. Let's go to the home view, that's the room list view. I'll go to some other, okay, deluxe views, king suite. Okay, so let's book a king suite from 28 to 29. Okay, it gives us some error, that is booking is not defined. Where does it give? Okay, HTTP response booking. Let's go over here. It's in views.py, 85th line. So it says over here booking. Okay, since we need to return a response, I think we should assign booking as the value the function returns, bookroom function. Let's go to the bookroom function and ask it to return a value. Actually, if you return nothing, it returns none, but yeah, we need to return the booking. Okay, after making the booking, we are going to return it. Let's save it, and then it should work fine. Let's refresh this page. Okay, all of this category of rooms are booked. Try another one. Let's try a different date. I'll book a bit in future. That's January 2021, 26th of January to 27th of January. Okay, from this to this. So that says that our room is booked. So let's go to our booking list and check it out. (26th of January to 27th of January). We should get it somewhere here. So this is it. King Suite, 26th Jan 2021 to 27th Jan 2021. I'll cancel the booking. So now I've cancelled it. Let's see. Yes, it no longer exists. So everything works fine, I suppose. Yeah. So that's the major code refactor that we have done today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something new. And such videos will be coming each and every day. We'll learn something new together. Hope you liked the video. If you liked it, hit the like button, subscribe for more such videos. Stay tuned. Bye bye.